So, big news today. Supreme Court overruled Colorado and Maine, forbidding those states from removing Donald Trump's name from the presidential ballot. And that is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. So the left hates Trump, and it's going to use every mechanism it can to try to destroy the man. And I mean that literally. They'd like to see him dead. They would. It's just that level of hatred is, I've seen it before. I've seen it on the right, too, but now it dominates the progressive left. So last year, Colorado and Maine said, nah, we're not going to put Donald Trump's name on a presidential ballot against Joe Biden because Trump led the insurrection on January 6th. Okay. So that was, number one, a denial of Donald Trump's due process. He's not been convicted of insurrection, nor has he been charged. Okay? The special counsel, Smith, is basically saying there was a conspiracy to invade the Capitol and Trump was involved. It's all bull, and it probably won't get anywhere. But anyway, this one is the ballot question. So Colorado actually went through a process where it's very, very left-wing courts say, yeah. We don't need due process here in Colorado. No, we'll just take them off. And then in Maine, it was one woman. I'll get to her in a moment. And they said, this woman, she's not going to be back. Now, in January, on the 9th, that was 2 months ago, right? Here's what I said. Go. The Supreme Court is going to overturn Colorado and Maine. So to talk about it as a reality that Trump's going to be denied the ballot spot is a waste of time. That's why we don't do it here. Now, I'm not a genius. I've said that before. If you know the Constitution, the Supreme Court couldn't possibly uphold those rulings. And they ruled 9-0. It was a unanimous ruling. Now, it should embarrass Colorado and Maine, but it won't. I mean, those cranks, they don't care. They just throw anything they can at Trump. So, but when you get a 9-0 ruling, you should have, in Maine, an impeachment of the Secretary of State, Shayna Bellows. She should be impeached tomorrow by the Maine legislature. That's embarrassing. Your state has been thoroughly humiliated by one woman, the Secretary of State, Shayna Bellows. Colorado, I don't know what you do. Send all the people from California who moved to Colorado back to California, maybe. I don't know if you could deport them under the Constitution, though. So we always knew this was a bunch of bull, which is why you watch and listen to me rather than watch the national news presentations on cable and network, because those people, number one, aren't smart enough to know what the Constitution says, most of them. They have no blanket idea what the Constitution says, all right? And number two, even if they did, they're not going to say anything that goes against their corporate masters. Now, I'm going to give you the best example I can possibly give you. NBC News, the absolute worst. They're worse than ABC and CBS by a long shot. They run MSNBC, the cable operation. Here's what two of their pundits on MSNBC said about the ballot stuff. Go.
They have what they need to make the ruling, and there's nothing anti-democratic about saying insurrectionists need not apply, and it's in the Constitution.
Colorado trial court found as a matter of fact, after a trial on the merits, a trial at which several witnesses testified, expert witnesses, witnesses who were at the Capitol that day, found as a matter of fact that Donald Trump engaged in an insurrection.
That's just a lie. Okay? There was no defense put up in Colorado. Trump's people didn't have any access to go in and talk to the courts there. There wasn't any trial. A trial, you have a defense. All this was we don't want him on a ballot. We're going to bring everybody who agrees with us in to Denver. That's what happened. That guy's name is Glenn Kirshner. He's a former prosecutor, whatever that means. The first guy, former U.S. Attorney Harry Litman, He says there's nothing anti-democratic about saying insurrectionists need not apply. Well, who's the insurrectionist? He hasn't been charged with that. Now, these guys get paid to spout this propaganda. If they were to come on and say, hey, there's nothing to this and the court's going to rule 9-0 and throw it out like I did, they wouldn't have a job at NBC. They never get on the air. You see how corrupt this is? These are mouthpieces. And this is all my opinion. Okay? I don't think I'm wrong. All right.